What's up, guys? What's going on? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Yak Pack Outdoors. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing the best spawn fishing baits. And with that, it's going to be pre-spawn, spawn, and then post-spawn. Was out here fishing today, trying to make a different video. Didn't catch no fish, so I figured, you know what? Why not try to help some people out, you know? Now, by any means, this doesn't necessarily mean like you have to use these baits. These are just baits that I've found a ton of success on in the 3 phases of the spawn. Like I said, pre-spawn, spawn, and then post-spawn. And I'll kind of go in depth of why I feel like I've found success on these specific baits. So with all that being said, let's get started. Today's video is brought to you by Subway. I'm just kidding, that was a joke. All right, so check it out. Pre-spawn, these bass are just starting to experience warmer weather, warmer water, and that's going to increase their metabolism, and it's going to make them very, very active. So they are going to be coming out of their wintertime slumps, you know, where they've just barely been eating, just enough to get by. They've been real lethargic and slow. So what they're going to be doing is like I said, they're going to be really active and they're going to be looking for a meal. So in my opinion, and the success rate that I've had on these 3 specific lures, definitely if you haven't, for a pre-spawn phase, give these a try. So for number 1, we have top water. Everybody loves top water. In the pre-spawn, I've found more success on spooks and poppers than anything else. It kind of just looks like a easy meal for them on the top, a real messed up dying bait fish or something like that. But a regular, just little $3 from Walmart head-on spook, or a popper. This popper specifically is from Academy. It's a H2O Express brand. If you guys have never tried those, I would definitely look into them because they're cheap and they're absolutely worth the money. All right, so we've covered the top. Next thing we want to do is hit that next water column, not the bottom, not the top, just everything in between. And with that, I'm going to be throwing a spinnerbait or a chatterbait, depending on conditions, and if the place is super pressured or not. 90% of people that use baits like this will use a spinnerbait because that's what they grew up fishing, or, you know, whatever the case may be. Not a whole lot of people, surprisingly, use chatterbaits. Now, I say that, not a lot of people use them where I'm from, mainly just like me and a few other people I know. Everybody else uses spinnerbaits, so a chatterbait is a different presentation. And if you're fishing somewhere super pressured, that's gonna really be key, is fishing something that those fish don't really see often. Basically, all you want to do when retrieving these is just cast where you think the fish are or are gonna be, obviously, and just kind of work it. Do whatever the fish wants you to do, you know. Start with a slow retrieve, give it a couple pops here and there, you know, kind of burn it fast, because those fish, like I said, they're going to be coming out of those wintertime slumps and they're going to really have a boost in energy. All right, number 3 on the pre-spawn list, I specifically like to use lipless crankbaits. You can fish these things a multitude of different ways. You can let it hit the bottom and you can almost jig it, basically. You can fish it through grass lines. You can just burn it in if you want to. You can be super erratic with it, reeling it in, give it some pops, rip it right through grass or anything like that. I've had huge success on lipless crankbaits, specifically this time of year in that pre-spawn, more of a natural match the hatch type color rather than anything crazy. I'll stick with like a regular sexy shad or a ghost shad or something, you know, really transparent, like just that looks exactly like what a bait fish where I'm fishing would look like. All right, and next up, everybody's favorite time of the year to fish, and everybody's basically almost guaranteed time to catch a big fish. That's what you're searching for when you're searching for spawn fish or bed fish or anything like that. Some people don't like bed fishing, and I understand that. I respect your opinion. I personally do like it, especially the catch, picture, release. Catch it, take a picture of it, maybe a video if you're doing this or whatever. Just throw it right back. You know, be easy with them, be gentle with them, especially if they're really big, you know, handle them the right way. But my go-to bed fishing baits are, number 1, soft plastics, of course. And this is the time of year where you can really build confidence on something that you don't really, you know, feel confident in using. For example, I didn't feel confident in using tubes until last spawn season in North Carolina, where I started, you know, just throwing tubes, just solid white tubes around the beds. And I'm telling you guys, it'll really build your confidence, especially when you catch 20 or 30 fish in a day on something that you weren't really you didn't really feel good about using. So one quick tip to this is when you are bed fishing, I like to use really bright colors so you can see when the fish has the bait in its mouth. So for example, a white, a really bright blue, a really bright red, or even the bubblegum pink like everybody sees and kind of makes fun of. Believe it or not, those are what those are designed for. That specific color is so you can see when the fish has it in its mouth. You can set the hook, reel it in, you got yourself a fish. But yeah, like I said, soft plastics, grubs work especially good. I had a lot of success on grubs last year. Really bright colored soft plastic, anything. So number 2 on this list is jigs. This also is when I started to really build my confidence in jigs. Now these, I will go with a more natural presentation, like a more natural color, because what those bass are doing is they have their eggs on the bed, and they are fending off like bluegill and sunfish and stuff like that. So if you can find a jig in almost a bluegill pattern or even a crappie pattern, they're definitely going to munch that thing, because they don't want any of those kind of fish eating their eggs around their bed at all. All right, number 3 for bed fishing, we have a swim bait. Now this is absolutely perfect for fish trying to defend their beds. If you throw a bluegill pattern swim bait 15 feet across a bed and bring it right through, I'm telling you, the big mama is gonna munch it, because she don't want nothing like that around her bed at all. Like I said, one thing you need to be careful of using, especially treble hooked swim baits during if you're actually spawn fishing on a bed, is the hookup ratio for treble hooks is really not that great. I mean, it's not bad by any means, don't get me wrong, but it's not like a standard EWG worm hook. It's nowhere near that. So really be cautious when you are using the swim bait on a bed, and actually let that fish, let it take it and turn before you try to set the hook or even reel down on it. All right, we have covered pre-spawn and spawn. Now we're going to go ahead and move it on into post-spawn. And this is not going to change too much from what we covered in pre-spawn. We're just going to fish those specific lures a little bit slower, because these fish are spawned out, they're extremely tired, they're exhausted. They just spent however many weeks on that bed, mating and laying their eggs and defending that bed, like I said, weeks. So come the post spawn, the fish are actually exhausted. You know what I'm saying? Imagine like a woman in the hospital has a baby. The next couple days or a week or two after that, she's really sore, she's really tired. Basically the same concept. So you'd be fine going with the spinner bait, the chatterbait, something like that. Lipless crankbait rolled a little bit slower. And one actual thing that I had a lot of success on last pre-spawn was an underspin. Now, nothing too flashy, nothing too fancy, just a regular, this looks like a shad. It's got a little underspin on it. Kind of looks like 2 little fish running around doing their thing in the pond. And if you slow roll this thing, boom, catch yourself a fish. Now, one thing I will say in comparison to all of this stuff, all this information, last year is I didn't catch a ton of big fish post-spawn until the early to mid-summer phase. And that's when the big girls started biting again. Because like I said, they get extremely tired and exhausted, and it's going to be hard to get them to bite. The males, however, they're just feisty year-round, it seems like. The males are usually the smaller ones on the bed or protecting the bed, and those are the ones you're going to see more often. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. Even though I was not able to catch a fish in the Welcome to Oklahoma series, which if you have not seen that, the very first episode will be linked down below. I'm in the Army. I'm stationed in North Carolina. I'm here in Oklahoma for 6 weeks for school. But what I did was I wanted to kind of turn this trip into a series, a little mini series. So I'm on the hunt for rainbow trout and smallmouth bass. I have not caught one of them before. So I'm really trying to put together a really cool series for you guys. I haven't really seen something like this done before, and I figured you guys would like to watch it. But anyways, like I said, go ahead and hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, or if you learned something. Comment down below if you guys have any tips or techniques for any of the other viewers, anybody else that's going to see this video, what works best for you during pre-spawn, spawn, and post-spawn. And with all of that being said, guys, thanks again for watching. We'll catch y'all next time.